Fugee here at Bigg Yields Ital Farms, and this is the first episode of Real People, Real Food. What we're going to do today, man, is just go over a couple things at the farm, let you guys know how we get down here at Bigg Yields Ital Farms, and just gonna have a beautiful Ital day. Aerate. What I got over here is some asparagus that I planted a couple months ago, and it's kind of dry up in here, man. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of recover up the plant, and then I come in later with some fresh mulch and some cow manure, some composted cow manure. That's the only type of fertilizer that we use at Bigg Yields Ital Farm. Sometimes we might use a little chicken, but most of all we just use a little bit of cow manure, and basically everything that fall on the earth, the leaves, the weeds and stuff, I kind of grind them up and just re-put them back on the plant. Even the leaves that come off the plants, you can put them back on the bottom of the mulch piles so that it won't dry as much. I want y'all to look at this beautiful banana plant right here that we planted probably not even a whole year ago, and it's already fruited. So this is what we got going on when you plant in the right soil base and you flip the soil. You get nice nutrients and you get a lot of air up in there. All right, y'all, we're gonna go over here to some of the baby papaya plants I got. The papayas that we had in the front are a little bigger. These are a little smaller because I guess it ain't getting as much sun as the ones in the front, but they still was healthy enough to produce a couple papayas. Like, focus on what I'm doing on the ground. See what I had put a lot of organic matter on this mound on top of this papaya plant, and what I do when I come back the next week, I kind of flip it just so some air get in there to the roots. Then I just cover it back up with more organic matter. This is all weeds and the roots and stuff that I pulled up. Let them dry it before you put them on there, because if you put them on there while they still green, then they have seeds and everything, and that will pop back up and get all in your root grapes and start eating nutrients from your plant. Most people don't like to do this, man, but this is what make my plant bigger and make the roots stretch out a little bit more, and to be able to absorb more nutrients with the air, because you don't want it to get stagnant and no air comes into the roots. That'll slow down the growth in your plant. And this is called aerating. Some people use a tool, but I don't really have to go that deep with these plants because I planted them right on the surface. That's one of our techniques at Bigg Yields. We don't really plant too deep because it's kind of hard for the water to get down there. So we kind of plant kind of high, and then we mound up to keep support. But that's just a little quick tutorial on how to aerate with your hands and kind of flip the mounds of mulch. That's one of the things. Over here, I had laid down some moringa leaves that I cut from the top of the trees that I cut off, and I just grinded it up into like a fine mulch. And this is a good nutrients for the ground and for the plants right before you get ready to plant. This used to be a watermelon patch, and they had a lot of watermelon vines in here last year. So I went ahead and kind of cleared it out, and I threw a couple peppers in here. Even these type of little plants need aerating too, man. Sometimes it be stuff blocking their roots. You got to get in here and clear it out. It'd be like little weeds in here. You got to get in here and clear those out too. They suck nutrients from your plant, believe it or not. And you can already see a little baby pepper coming on these plants. Haha. Use a little baby Rayco, you know, get in there. Trying to move the earth around a little bit. These plants, just like humans, man, they need water, sunlight, and they need air. They need oxygen to their roots, just like you need oxygen to your lungs. I never knew how much similar humans and plants was until I got into this farming industry. There's also a couple little pieces of ginger in here. They've been in here for about a year and they just keep growing and coming back. I picked some last week. Most people don't like to do this, man, but this really like one of my favorite things to do. This and trimming the leaves. I love to trim. I'll come back in probably in a couple of days, remulch over this and put some fertilizer down like I was saying. So it's kind of dry in here, you know, but we have been getting a lot of rain. Another weed I'm pulling out. Anything you see kind of weedy, you just want to get that away from your plant. Some people like to compost it, but me, I just let it burn out and kind of throw it in the compost pile after it burns up. Get out the seed. It might not look like I'm doing nothing, but watch how happy these plants be in a couple days. A couple inches of growth. Sometimes you just got to get your hands dirty. I don't mind. Alright, come over here and do my little, this is actually a tamarind plant, and I think these are maybe a year old, and I started these from seed at the Bigg Yields Ital nursery, which is located at my house. I keep a lot of them seedlings and the baby plants there, start them there first, and then we kind of bring them out here. I think these plants are native to either Africa or Southeast Asia. I'm not familiar with where they're from. Asia or Africa. Might be Africa. What is actually my favorite tree, man. I love the way the leaves spread out. And at night, right before it gets dark, the leaves close up. And I actually use it in a lot of cooking too. It has a sweet, tangy flavor. And when it fruits, it has like a little pod, a bean pod, with a sticky, sweet, tangy paste. And this plant is actually in the legume family, which is a bean. And this is the aerating, man. You just go along in here and you just kind of flip the soil, get a little air in there, break down the nutrients and the moisture a little bit, and that's it. That's how we do it here, man, at Bigg Yields Ital Farms, man. It's a lot of work, a lot of love, and that's how it pay off, man.